Welcome to Tech Brothers. In this video, we're going to learn how to create policy condition in SQL Server, and we'll be using two ways to do it, using SQL Server Management Studio graphic user interface and using T-SQL script. And keep in mind that policy condition is part of SQL Server policy management. If you have any policy that you would like to evaluate against all the instance of SQL Server in your particular organization, then you can use policy management in SQL Server. In order to use policy management SQL Server, you need to create a policy, and in order to create a policy, you need to create a condition. That's why I put right down here. I couldn't come up with a better word, but prerequisites of creating policy on SQL Server. However, when you create, which we'll cover in next demo, that when you create a SQL Server policy using SQL Server Policy Management, then you have an option to create a condition right there, or you can use existing condition. My recommendation is always go ahead and create condition, because you might want to spend some time on a condition. You need to be really careful whether it depends on your audit and what you want it to look like, your environment of different SQL Server instances you want it to look like, if you wanted to keep your environment really in shape and in same and following the same policy. So you can use SQL Server Policy Management to do that in order to enforce that. So let's go ahead and create a SQL Server create policy condition in SQL Server. So here's my SQL Server instance, and Tech Brothers and SQL Server Mirror is my instance. In order to go to the SQL Server Policy Management, you need to click on Management tab right here, and you will see the first thing up here, Policy Management. And if you expand, you will see three things: policies, conditions, facets. We have covered a little bit about facets in previous demo, and now we're going to go ahead and create a condition which we will use in policy when we create a policy for this particular instance, or we can add multiple instances in that policy, or we can evaluate this particular policy against multiple SQL Server instances. So in this video, we're going to go ahead and create a condition. First, we're going to go ahead and create a condition using SQL Server Management graphic user interface, and then we will use SQL Server T-SQL script. So in order to create condition, you need to right click on the condition, click new. There are already some conditions defined, system conditions that comes with it. That depends on what you have installed during your installation, what part of SQL you have installed, what objects you installed, and if you have installed high availability, then it's going to be some system generated condition and policies against the high availability. So keep in mind those are system conditions. You can take a look later on. So we're going to go ahead and in this video, our particular target is that we wanted to check if on this particular SQL Server instance, this particular SQL Server instance is SQL Server 2014. So we wanted to check that compatibility level of all the database has been set to 120, because this helps really in migration. Sometimes we migrate database from SQL Server 2012 or SQL Server 2008 and bring those databases in SQL Server 2014 and forget to basically change the compatibility level of the SQL Server databases to proper version of the SQL Server. So this is sometimes very important. So this is what we're going to cover in this particular demo, but you can use this demo and use other you can create other condition of the database or SQL Server instance related, depending on what facet you will check or what facet you will use. So we're going to go ahead and name it compatibility check. That's my condition, and I'm going to choose the facet. I'm going to run this against all the databases on this particular instance. So facet needs to be database. So we're going to go ahead and click on database. Up here you have an expression that what exactly that you wanted to check about this. This is a facet, and it has multiple physical properties of database options and database files and all that. So what exactly you would like to do? So we're going to go ahead and click on field. So we're going to go ahead and click on compatibility level. If you can find it right here, compatibility level. This is So I'm going to say that compatibility level is equal to operator here. So we're going to go ahead and check what exactly we would like to see. We would like to see 120. So this is again, I'm checking that if all the databases that is brought from previous version of SQL Server on SQL Server 2014, I wanted to check whether compatibility of all those databases is basically there. So I'm going to go ahead, this condition is going to verify or going to check if compatibility So this is my description, just so that you know. So I'm going to go ahead and click on OK. So as you can see, if we expand, we have a condition already created. If you go to properties, you will see the same thing right here. This condition is going to check compatibility on this particular instance of all databases. So we're going to go ahead and cancel this, and we're going to go ahead and delete this, and we're going to go ahead and use T-SQL script to create the same condition, and we'll go through the script a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and delete that. Keep in mind that this is the condition we'll use when we'll do the demo of policy, when we'll create a policy using policy management tab up here. So we're going to go ahead and load our script. This is the condition script. So up here, the MSDB sys policy _add _ condition is the stored procedure that you that it uses back behind the scene. Compatibility level, that's just the name that I have given it, and this is just the description. Main thing is, this is the main data of that particular condition. If you look at right here, the value version is 120. You can add value version if you wanted to check a couple of them. You can use AND operator, and it, or you can modify this one, this XML, and basically put version 100 as well, that you would like to check that whether any database that's out of 120 and 100, you would like to check that out. So operator up here is name condition, and object name is condition. This is basic right here. So we're gonna go ahead and run this script. As you can see, the script ran successfully. So we're gonna go ahead and check our condition, refresh our condition, and see if compatibility level is created. So we're gonna go ahead and look at the properties of compatibility level condition. Right here is Facet database and compatibility and version 120. So our script worked just fine. As you can see right here, this condition, basically this is the script that I scripted out a little bit earlier. So I used this description right here. So this is how basically you create SQL Server policy condition using SQL Server Management Studio graphic user interface and using T-SQL. In the next demo, we'll be creating SQL Server policy using SQL Server Policy Management, and we'll use this particular condition that we already created. I hope this video helps.